Okay, so today we are diving into something that looks kind of awesome, but also a little intimidating. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely gets your heart rate up a little bit.
Headstands. You're basically like defying gravity and
Hurting yourself completely.
exactly. I've always been intrigued by headstands, but also kind of scared to like actually try them,
Mm,
you know?
I get it. It's not the kind of pose you just like jump into without any preparation or
Yeah.
anything.
Like balancing your entire body weight on your head. No thanks. At
No,
least not without some expert guidance, which is where this very well fit article comes in.
for sure.
Yeah.
That's a great resource. They really stress the importance of safety above all else, which I appreciate.
Totally. So for anyone who's ever been like, ooh, a headstand, but also what if I break my neck? This guide has got you covered.
100%.
Yeah.
And one of the first things they emphasize is how important it is to work with a trained instructor, especially when you're just starting out.
That makes me feel a lot better already. So this isn't like a watch a YouTube video and try this at home situation.
Not at all. The article explains that the bones in our necks just aren't designed to hold our entire body weight. Like, think about it.
We spend most of our time upright, not exactly built for being upside down.
Exactly. So proper form and building up to it gradually, that's super key.
Gotcha. So it's a marathon, not a sprint.
I like that analogy. And if you're not quite ready for a full headstand, no worries. They even suggest some alternative poses like handstands or forward bends that can help you build the strength and balance you'll need.
Like a don't run before you can walk approach to yoga.
Exactly. It's all about respecting your body's limits and working with them, not against them.
I'm all about that. And speaking of respecting limits, there was something else that caught my eye in this guide. They mentioned avoiding headstands if you're feeling stressed or if you haven't slept well,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
which I thought was really interesting. I didn't realize there was a connection there.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
It goes back to that mind-body connection that's so essential in yoga.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about the physical practice. Your mental state matters too.
Right. It's like if you're already feeling stressed and on edge, trying to balance on your head is probably not the best idea.
Definitely not. It's about tuning in to what your body needs in that moment.
Yeah.
If you're exhausted, maybe your restorative pose is a better choice than a headstand.
Way better to listen to your body than push it too far.
100%. It can be tempting to jump into the more advanced poses, but sometimes the best thing you can do is just listen to what your body's telling you.
So, okay, let's say you're feeling good, well rested, and ready to give this whole headstand thing a shot. What are the key takeaways for actually doing the pose? Like, where do you even begin?
Well, the guide breaks it down step by step, which is super helpful. And it all starts with positioning your forearms and head correctly. They actually have this great tip where they say, imagine you're balancing a book on your head.
Okay.
You wouldn't want it tilted back, right? It's all about finding that stable base.
Makes sense. So you want the book to be like right on top.
Exactly. And the article is really specific about this. It says the very top of your head should be on the ground, with the back of your head resting at the base of your thumbs.
So your hands aren't actually holding your head up.
Nope. It's more like your forearms and shoulders are doing most of the work here. And then once you've got that foundation set, the guide walks you through how to actually lift into the pose. And this is where it gets really cool. They actually give you two different methods.
Wait, really? Two different ways to get into a headstand.
Two beginner-friendly methods, at least. They both have their pros and cons, and the article does a great job of explaining each one.
Interesting. Okay, so what's method number one?
So method one involves what they call a knee tuck. It's kind of like you're folding yourself into a little egg shape,
Right.
bringing your center of gravity closer to your body, which the guide says can feel really stable for beginners.
That makes sense. Less chance of tipping over when you're first starting out.
Exactly. And then method two is a straight leg lift. This one requires a bit more core strength, but it gives you a more direct line to the full headstand.
So it's like you can choose your own adventure based on your current strength and comfort level.
I love that.
Awesome.
Exactly. And no matter which method you choose, the article really hammers home the importance of slow and controlled movements throughout the entire process.
They emphasize that a lot. Slow and controlled movement. Why is that so crucial? What happens if you like try to rush it?
Well, I mean, think about it. You're basically asking your body to completely invert itself. Rushing into a headstand is kind of like diving headfirst into a shallow pool. Probably not going to end well.
Ouch. Okay, that's an image. So we're talking like potential for serious injury here.
For sure. Especially to your neck. And speaking of things you definitely don't want to do, the article actually has this whole section dedicated to common mistakes people make when they're first attempting headstands. You know that whole thing you see in movies where people just like kick up into a headstand?
Oh, yeah, the super dramatic headstand entrance.
That's the one. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, apparently that's a big no-no. That's how you get a one-way ticket to neck injury city.
Yikes. Good to know. I think I'll stick with the slow and controlled approach. Maybe practice against a wall a few times just to be safe.
Now you're getting it. And actually, the article also talks about how helpful it can be to have a spotter, especially when you're first starting out.
That makes me feel a lot better about maybe attempting this at home. It's like having a buddy system.
Exactly. Someone who can offer a helping hand, or should I say a steadying hand, when you need it most.
I like it. Safety and numbers and all that. This guide is amazing. They really thought of everything. From like how to actually do the pose to having a spotter. It's wild.
Yeah, they did their research. It's not just like, okay, go stand on your head now.
Right. It's more like they're holding your hand through the whole process. And speaking of like respecting your limits and stuff, they also have some good advice for people who might not be ready for a full headstand.
Totally. Like those alternative poses we were talking about.
Yeah. Like instead of going straight to the hard stuff, what can you do to prepare?
Exactly. They talk about how awesome handstands and forward bends can be for building strength and balance.
Yeah.
It's like they're saying, hey, you want to master headstands eventually? Sweet. Here's some stepping stones to get you there.
I love that. It's all about building up to it.
And you know what's cool? Even if someone's like, okay, a headstand is totally off the table for me, maybe because of a neck injury or whatever,
Yeah.
this guide still has their back.
Oh, really? What do they say for those folks? I'm curious.
They've got a whole section on alternative poses that can give you some of the same benefits
Ah.
as a headstand, like think downward facing dog or legs up the wall pose.
So you can still get that inverted feeling without like crushing your spine.
Exactly. It's all about finding what works for your body.
I love this. Seriously, this deep dive has been a game changer for me. I feel like a million times more prepared to try a headstand now. Like I'm still a little scared, but
Well, yeah, of course. A healthy dose of respect for the pose is a good thing.
totally. But before we wrap up, any final words of wisdom for our listeners who might be feeling inspired to give headstands a try?
Let's see. I'd say safety first always. Find a good instructor who can guide you. Don't rush the process. And remember, even those yoga masters you see on Instagram, they approach this pose with caution too.
So true. It's not about being fearless. It's about being mindful and respectful of your body. Well, this has been quite a journey. Learned a ton about headstands today. And who knows, maybe handstands are next.
I'm down if you are. Always up for a new yoga adventure.
That's a wrap on another deep dive, everyone. We hope you feel ready to tackle your next headstand or any new challenge with confidence and care. Until next time, happy inverting.